Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Just Believe podcast. I'm your host, HB Mac. Today, I am honored to have this lovely young lady come share her stories, and not only her stories, but teach us something that I think we all need to learn about, and that's just spirituality. I'm trying to say it, but getting more spiritual, where we can find other ways to heal and whatnot. And this young lady goes by the name of Kerry. How are you doing today?
Hi, HB.
Hi.
Very good.
Good.
Thank
you for coming on. Oh, I'm
me.
honored to have you. I love what you do. We connected through Instagram, and I was instantly hooked because I've been jumping onto that spiritual journey myself. That really helped me heal. One of my favorite books is the Four Amendments. I love that book. It's very simple laws. Yeah, it's just simple. And I love how he just dumbs it down where it's not big words. It's just, this is it. Just these 4 rules, and it's the way to go. And the ironic part about that book, I was already doing 3 of them and not even knowing it already.
Wow.
Yeah, I changed my circle and I stopped listening to what other people were saying and the way they was reacting and whatnot. But yeah, it's a great book. But
Awesome.
Please tell the people your story and where you from and how did you start on this spiritual journey?
So my name is Kerry Donovan. I own a company called Divine Radiance. That name kind of came to me during my spiritual awakening. And so, starting off, I grew up on the East Coast, but I was called out to California to be an actor. And I just grew up in a very traumatic household. I had emotional abuse. It was just pretty rough. So I was ready to get out like as soon as I could. I was just like, I wasn't scared because I was running away from something that was so dysfunctional that I just didn't care if I was going across the country and was going to embark on my own journey, which I was really excited about. But I didn't heal my trauma. So like anything else, if you don't heal it, it just keeps appearing in your life.
Over and over again. Yeah, over and over again. It's like a circle.
Beats you up. But a lot of my trauma materialized in my life as anxiety. I started having really bad panic attacks to the point where I was, I even called 911 because I thought I was dying. Which is really crazy to me. I just didn't even think, it was so physical. I didn't even pop into my head that it was a panic attack. And when the paramedics came in, and they told me I was having a panic attack, I honestly was in shock. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
He looked at me and he said, yeah. And I remember that was a moment of change in me. I just didn't even realize I was suffering, from a mental illness, from anxiety, and I didn't know. And then I realized I always thought I had asthma because I would have trouble breathing, but it was really just anxiety. So that's, sometimes the unhealed trauma, that's kind of how it manifests in itself. And that's how it did for me. I tried therapy back then without much success, but I wasn't very dedicated. I think as a young in my 20s was just really
it's
just
something
partying.
You have to do all in or you can't do it at all. Yeah,
exactly. And I wasn't all in. I was more about partying and living a crazy life. And it wasn't until years later, really, I was a single mom. So my daughter was a gift to me. She came in a point where I think I was just completely desolate. I was at a dead end in my life and was partying. I had no direction. And then all of a sudden I found myself pregnant. And, as scary as that was, she was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Forced you to slow down?
She forced me to slow down. I stopped drinking. Partying. And my focus became about her. And I learned about unconditional love. I didn't have love in my household growing up, so I didn't really know how to love per se. So she taught me unconditional love. She just gave me strength, purpose, direction. So I kind of changed my life around. I actually got into the corporate world, started making money so I could take care of her. But once again, I still didn't heal. So all that stuff was still lingering in the background. And I was, I think, hiding it by working too much and really just my whole identity was really about being a mom, and I lost really who I was. And it was about 2 or 3 years ago where I had just that recurring bad relationship come up.
Yeah.
And it was at the point I had my, my rock bottom. And it was a dark place. It was a really, really dark place. But it was so dark that I knew there was only one way up. There was no more going down. There was no more, I'm not going to heal, or I'm not going to spend time on this. It's not going away. So that's where my healing journey began. And I would say it was a good 10 months of full focus. I did therapy. I did a 12-step program called Adult Children of Alcoholics, which I didn't even know existed. And
What is that?
saying this now, I know. Well, everyone knows AA. Everyone knows alcohol, Narcotics Anonymous, overeating. There's actually a 12-step program for children who grew up in an alcoholic family or an abusive family. It is also for people maybe that grew up in the foster system who just didn't get the love and attention most kids crave as children. And it was life-changing. And it was all because I got the right therapist who recognized right away I had all the traits. So pretty much if you grew up in an alcoholic home, the kids grow up with similar traits. They're people pleasers. They have anxiety. They end up with alcoholics or they become an alcoholic. There's all these traits. And when I joined the group, it blew me away. I was like, I'm home. Like this book.
This is what I needed.
They wrote is about me.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, you hear about AA. I didn't realize it was a spiritual program. And so is ACA. So Adult Children of Alcohol. It's you do your 12 steps. It's very spiritual. That was eye-opening to me. And I just really dedicated myself to, like I said, therapy, 12-step program. I strengthened my meditation practice. And I started doing yoga, eating better, hiking more, reading a lot, like we were talking about, like spiritual books. Just really, I didn't see anybody. I literally, that almost
sound like you just did some soul searching. Yeah. On the inside.
It was deep. It was deep healing. I experienced 3 dark nights of the soul. And then I had a spiritual awakening, which was pretty amazing. You start seeing things a lot clearer. Start seeing exactly how this world works. Kind of see behind the scenes a little bit, see the bigger picture. So that was interesting. And then I discovered, because I'd been praying, I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And I got a calling to be a healer. And I actually healed my dog. I got the calling, and I thought that was weird because it literally was a voice that said, you can heal others with this power because I was feeling this power in this meditation. And right after, I was like, that was the weirdest experience of my life.
You're like, what is going on?
I took my dog for a walk, and he hurt his paw. And I was like, this is the weirdest coincidence. I walk with my dog, I take him, and he doesn't get hurt. And I'm like, I just had this calling. So I tried the energy, and I healed my dog, which was very, very strange to me. And I thought maybe it was a coincidence. I didn't just think,
the universe is testing me, and I passed. It
was a sign that, like, yes, you heard what you heard was, focus. And then a week later, I found a crystal healing class, like a certificate class. So I was like, I'm taking it. And it was like, I was home again. Like, but this time I was on home, but I was growing, and I found my purpose, and I had, I just knew, my gift basically was to help people. And that's really, I think, like we taught, after a spiritual awakening, you really just want to help other people.
You want to help others. You said something that I thought was key, was having a good therapist. Unlike you, I had a horrible therapist or psychiatrist, and that altered my decision, and that made me look into Eastern medicine. Like, hey, what is going on? Let me see this. And a lot of my friends, they always say, man, Herbie, you always zone out, you always do this, you always do that, right? And I'm like, Zen, what are you talking about? Zen, I'm just relaxing. Like, no, you need to look into Zen, man. You're the definition of Zen. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. And as I look and check it out, it's like a rabbit hole that you just go down. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I am, but maybe I'm not. Like, yes, I do like some meditation, but then I'm like, what is this chakra thing that they're talking about? What is this? Okay, learning that, and then learning, wait, if there's a certain music that I can listen to, a certain frequency that can help change my mood. Like, what is this? Then learning about the healing crystals. And I don't know, just something about that I just pulled to. I was like, oh, okay. All right. I got the salt lamp here. Yeah, I got the salt lamp. I gotta get a little tiger eye. I gotta get oh my God, what is another good one? I can't think right now. But there's so many. And once you find out about them and you learn, okay, well, this is different. But this is not a weird difference. I feel good. Now
it felt familiar.
Yeah. It's like I'm used to this. Yes.
Like I learned hundreds of crystals and their properties in a weekend.
Yeah.
It was like, it wasn't, and these are complicated names, but amazingly, I just feel like it was more remembering than just learning, and it just resonated on a deep level. Yeah. Sound healing. If anyone's been to a sound bath, those are amazing.
Yes.
Bringing stuff up.
I did so much that some of my like friends looked at me, especially from the Bronx. They're like, dude, I don't know who you are anymore. Like, what are you doing, man? Because I started doing, what is that? The Magnesium Bath. And that was, oh my goodness. I was so relieved. Like whatever tension I felt it was awesome. I recommend everybody doing that at least once. It's weird in the beginning because it's dark, but after that you just naturally float and your thoughts, whatever. It's amazing. Whatever thoughts that you had on the top of your brain, they're gone. Like, man, I was really mad that person cut me off. Oh no. I need a vacation, and that was like a vacation. I did so many Eastern medicine types as far as cupping and acupuncture, which I love, and you feel it. And then you start noticing people's energy afterwards. I don't know. It's just me. Like now I know when somebody has a bad intention, I don't have to engage into a conversation. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, you're not for me. It's okay. It's okay.
Exactly. And you protect your energy. We are bouncing off each other constantly. And I think a lot of people just take on other people's negative energy without realizing it.
Yes.
So they take it on. They're at work. There's a lot of negative energy at work and they come home upset. That's, people just don't even think about that sometimes, but it affects you.
Now,
you have to protect yourself.
Once you after the 12-step program and you realize, okay, the whole spirit world, like this is different. Did that help you with your whole mental, or was it just, that was it? Like, okay.
No, it definitely did. Now they're all connected. It's important to realize your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, energies, they all make up who you are. And so if one's off, it can set
everything's off.
And when they're all on and you're in alignment and you're whole, you're in ecstasy basically. But yeah, I haven't had a panic attack or any anxiety in probably a year and a half.
Good.
Which is amazing. I haven't taken one pill. I have not felt anxious, and I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of healing the trauma, so really looking at it, digging it up, right? You got to dig it all up and bring it to the light. Plus the meditation, daily meditations I do twice a day for at least 30 minutes. I don't time them, but they usually are about 30 minutes. I pray. I have a praying session, usually before meditation. Those are all just very calming to me. And I don't know, I can't say which one got rid of my anxiety.
But it helps.
They all help.
Yeah.
Like finding those, I think I told you earlier, the pieces of the puzzle. This is what I tell my clients. It's not going to be one thing. Going to heal you. It's not going to be one pill. It's not going to be just one thing, or even just therapy or hypnotherapy.
You have to do other things. Yeah.
You want to play around with different things to see what resonates with you and what makes you feel good and happy. And then, devise your program, but just making sure that you're worth it. because I think that's what kept me from, you know, doing it in the beginning, was that I just didn't feel I was worthy of healing, you know, because it does take some money, right? You got to invest some money in
It
yourself.
takes money, time, and
Time,
courage.
yes, and lots of energy.
Yeah.
And I, you know, I would do so much for my daughter. I put her in dance classes, you know, 5 days a week, and all that I did, no problem spending money on. But when it came to like my wellness, I realized
Yeah.
I was in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to like step up, and I had to make myself a priority. And it's true what they say, like you have to take care of yourself before you can truly take care of
Yeah.
others.
I
Otherwise,
tell everybody that.
you're giving from an empty vessel, and that's how illness happens, disease
Mm-hmm.
happens, because you're giving energy you don't have. So you have to fill from the inside first and fill up. You know, take care of yourself with your meditations, with your prayers, with your self-care, and then you have stuff to give.
Yes.
And you can be a better friend,
Yeah.
parent, you know,
Yeah.
sister.
You said something that, you know, with the meditation, right? Like growing up, I was a big like Dragon Ball Z fan, into like karate movies like Bruce Lee and whatnot. And you see these guys meditate. And it was always something that I thought was like, oh, if you meditate, something's gonna happen. And it's like, no, not everything's gonna happen. It's just you slowing down the world and getting a peace of mind. You know, sometimes when I get those rare 5 minutes, 10 minutes to sit down and just not think and try to meditate, that's what it is. It's just slowing down the world and recharging. It's not something spiritual is going to happen or you're just going to start floating. No, it's just you're slowing down the world. You're recharging. You're gathering your thoughts to give the best you out there. And a lot of people look for something to happen. Hey, I tried to meditate for 30 minutes and nothing happened, because you're looking for something. Just slow it down and just relax.
And I think a good way to look at it is just think of yourself as tapping into the universal energy, right? There's a universal life force, you know, depending on, you know, who you study. It's prana, chi, grace in Christianity. It's just basic life force energy, and it's all around us. And I feel like meditation is just tapping into that.
Yes, yes.
And it
yes.
doesn't mean you're going to feel anything or do anything, but just by you stopping and just reconnecting with your inner being is so powerful. And like you said, even for 5 minutes,
5 minutes.
5 minutes to just stop and reconnect it's very powerful.
I remember I was talking to a client. We was having a conversation, and I was just like, hey, you know, you can try writing your thoughts down, or even just meditating, just relaxing. And he was like, well, I don't have time for this and this. And, you know, we're in the middle of football season that just started. And I'm like, are you watching football? He's like, yeah, you know, I got to watch the game. And I'm like, but you have time for that, but you can't put time for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish the facial expression that he made was, well, now that you put it like that, yeah, I could probably do it during halftime. I'm like, it doesn't matter when you do it, but just try it, because we have to slow the world down sometimes. You know, as we said earlier, like prior to this podcast, you constantly go, 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 go. And when you're constantly going, you putting yourself last. The most important person that you have to take care of is yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't be the best husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, dad, whomever. You can't be the best. And I think it's important for that. That's why I really want to book you, so you can express that. Like, hey, it's more than just relaxing and zenning out or getting high or anything like that. There's other methods to it where you can really be one with self.
Yeah, it's so important, because we're always, and we talked about energy of other people. Some people don't even know what it's like to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Their energies are always interacting with someone else. They don't even know what theirs is alone. And meditation is a chance to just recenter yourself. And you can reinforce, boundaries, so that you don't pick up on other people's energy. Because I'm an empath, so I would take in so many people's energy. At the end of the day, I was just exhausted, or I couldn't be in a large crowd of people. But now I've learned to fortify myself in a way, and you can do that in meditation. And so you just don't take in because even as a healer, could you imagine if I was just taking in everyone's pain?
That would
So
be a
my
lot.
teacher taught us how to, you know, really to protect our energy. And there's energy vampires. I don't know if you've heard that term, but you
There's a
know,
few of them I
I grew
know.
up with one.
Yeah, it's a few that I know. Thank God for that block button. Nope,
I
nope,
know,
not today.
right?
Not today. You're
Yeah.
draining. You're too draining.
Some people,
Yeah.
it's like they will just take your energy and take it, take it,
Hmm.
take it.
Hmm.
And, you know, I've learned to say no. I've learned to not interact. You have no responsibility to most of these people usually.
Yeah.
So protecting yourself, I think, is so important.
Yeah.
By saying, wait, after I talk to this person, I don't feel good. I actually feel horrible and tired, angry, like whatever it is,
Yeah.
and to really like separate yourself from that until, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you touched on something that was key, was learning how to be by myself. Like that was
Mhm.
so awkward, right? I worked in a job where it's pretty big. I'm always greeting people, and I'm a people person. I'm a social butterfly. But then when I was home alone by myself, I would feel not only awkward, but I would start hearing those demons, like that bad energy tell me that, hey, you're not worthy of this. Why are you here? Talking down to me, messing with me mentally. And then I had
Mhm.
to name that demon something like Daffy Duck, where I had to, okay, I'm not taking you serious, man. Get out of here. I'm taking a moment. I'm going to meditate. I'm doing yoga. Okay, I'm trying to see how to recharge my chi. I'm trying to figure all of this out. And and then I realized one of the biggest things, and especially for me to recharge instantly, was going to the beach. Going to
Yeah.
the beach, putting my feet in the salt water and just embracing it and just having that natural sun
Mhm.
helps. Now,
Well, during the
whatever,
beach, it's one of the highest frequency energies.
yes,
Something about the
yes.
salt water and the sand
Hmm.
that creates a very high frequency. That's why most people feel very relaxed and happy at the water, even if they're not in the water, they're next to the water.
Yes.
Very powerful. And I
Yeah,
learned that. Like, well, that makes sense.
I have a friend who's Rastafarian,
Okay.
and he was telling me, he was like, man, you've been off for at least like a few months. And he's like, hey, just go to the beach. I guarantee. Just put the salt water over your shoulder and get rid of that negative energy, as he called it, the bad juju. And I was
As you
like,
do, yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, all right, fine. And but like we have a great connection, and he started knowing that I was open-minded, that I was getting into the spiritual element. So he was like,
Yeah.
hey, try it out. And then that helped out. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna advise everybody like this. I had my brother who came down. He had like some really bad juju, and I'm like, bro, I love you and all. I got the sage, but this is way more than sage, man. We gotta go to
It
the
does
beach.
require the sage. Sage
Yeah,
works really well, but it's a good alternative if you're
yeah. I
not
was like, look, I
buying.
got the sage. I'm trying to sage this house, but we need to go to the beach. And when he went to the beach, probably we was there for 30 minutes, and instantly all that pain that he was carrying was gone. And he
Yeah.
was like, thank you so much. I'm so happy now. I feel like myself. And I was trying to explain to him. He's just like, all right, weirdo, but okay.
Yeah.
Like, all right, weirdo. I'm going to listen, but
Right.
don't expect me to try it out. And he started going down a rabbit hole, and he started learning, okay, there's some sense to this.
You know, we're going back to, you had said something. You know, when I first got the calling to be a healer, I
Yeah.
was like, what are people going to think?
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought
The
of. Like,
stigma
this is
of
kind of
that.
weird.
Yes. Yes.
Kind of weird. Like
Yeah.
at first, and I just can't even believe I thought that, because now I obviously feel honored and I'm excited about it. But my first initial reaction was that, what are people going to say? And amazingly, all of my friends embraced it way better than I would have ever. And now they're all into it.
Yeah.
You know, I have friends who were meditating, they got into crystals. I mean, and here I thought like people would think I was weird, but actually they thought it was really neat. And I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are looking for something else. I think people are
Yeah.
starting to realize, I just don't want to drink 5 beers every
Yeah.
night. Or
Because
life
later
isn't
on, my
just,
liver's going to hate me. Yeah.
yeah, my life isn't just about working, watching television, you know, having a beer and going to bed,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's got to be more to life, you know? And I think that's a lot where mental illness comes in, is that you know, we're these really loving, wonderful beings in our essence. That's what we
Yeah.
are, is pure love. And we come into this world and it can be a little harsh, you know, and it's, you know, we're confined into these systems
Yeah.
and rules and
Yeah.
all this stuff. It can be really hard. So I think it's surprising if someone doesn't suffer from some sort of mental illness. I don't even think that's possible. Maybe
Yeah.
they hide it more. Maybe they, and I think that's when things happen. Those people end up having a stroke or a heart attack at some point, because that energy doesn't just go anywhere. You know, you may be able to suppress it for a while, but it stays in your body. Just like that anxiety followed me, you know, through most of my life. That's what I think people should realize, is you need to feel your emotions. You need to
It's okay.
express that. It's
Yeah.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay
And
to
I
be
love
vulnerable.
how
We're
more
human.
kids are talking about it on Instagram. And I love that, because I don't know, like, for so long, and men weren't allowed to cry. They weren't allowed. And that's just not healthy. We're
Yeah.
human.
No, it's not. It's not. I had I really started my journey of like on social media about a year ago. You know, learning and getting comfortable sharing my story. And once I started, the guys started DMing me, "Hey, thank you. Man, I was feeling like this, but I didn't want to tell my wife. I was feeling like this, but I didn't want to tell my mom. I didn't want to, and it was just like, hey, it's okay, man. And it's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. That stigma we have to break. It sucks to me that it's normalized to drink a beer, right? I can work 40 hours. Okay, my wife is mad about something because of money issues, but I'm gonna go to the bar, drink a beer. We can normalize that. We can have all the beer ads on TV, all the alcohol ads on TV, but when it comes to expressing yourself as a human, not even just a man, as a human, and saying, hey, it's okay to get therapy. Hey, it's okay to try this. It's okay for that. Oh, you need to be on a prescription. That is perfectly fine. Instead of giving it a stigma of, oh, this person's a weirdo, this person's a nut. If you go, oh, you seen a healer? Oh man, I knew something was off about you, you know, and it's like, no, it's let's normalize this stuff. Now we're going to 2021. Like, this needs to be normalized. You know, I'm so grateful for people like you who actually decide to not only go through that pain, but okay, how can I use my talents in a way where I can help somebody else heal? And to find that is phenomenal. Like I told you, I went down a rabbit hole, not even realizing I was going to go down a rabbit hole, but then having that open mind to do it, it's awesome. You said something about like your friends was going to be, it's so weird because when I started doing this, I thought my friends was going to judge me, but then I think them being our friends, they know us better than we know ourselves. Like they know, like, oh, Kerry's she's going to do this. Like, oh, we was waiting for you to do this. You know,
you have some of those. Like, you've always been a healer.
Yeah. And I think we're being in it. You don't realize, like, wait, this is my calling. This is my purpose. I found it. Now it's time to give away my talents. Yeah. No, this is beautiful. I hope so many people learn from this. I really do.
I do too. And I love what you're doing. I mean, you're obviously
You.
bringing it to a huge audience. I think it's so important for us all to be talking about. And, you know, I wanted to say there was something you had said earlier about the voice in your head, right? You called it a demon.
Yeah.
In ACA, they call it the critical parent. Mm-hmm. So you have that. Just for me, it was all about perfection, right? I had to be perfect. If I wasn't, I was so harsh on myself. I was so mean to myself. This voice, now that I look back, I just can't believe what this voice, my inside voice would say to me. And part of the process in the 12-step program is changing that critical parent, or at least quieting it, and working on your archetype of a loving parent and creating that new voice in your head that's very loving and caring and nurturing. And I found that to be, it took practice. It took a lot of work because the critical parent was so loud, but now that critical parent's almost silent. And now it's just a loving parent. And I think working with archetypes is a really good way to help with any mental issues, because sometimes it's these voices that are really harsh.
Yeah, it's our insecurities that's coming out. It's projecting. My insecurities I didn't feel good enough for my parents. to be honest. You know, I moved. I've been out in Tampa for probably 10 years during this time, and they didn't even come down once. They didn't even have the conversation of thinking about coming down. I don't like taking airplanes. And it's like, okay, all right. Then, you know, that's hard to take when you have your friends and your family members coming down and they're questioning, hey, everything okay with you and your moms and dad? And it's like, yeah, no, what did you do? How come they're treating you like this? And, you know, your friends and family are going to ask you tough questions, and it's up to you to really be honest with them. But I'm honest. Like I told them, I'm like, I don't know. And then having that, man, these guys missed my birthday 3 years in a row. Wow. And I'm the only son. So it was like, it was so much that demon, quote unquote, was really like just projecting. And I had to learn, okay, this is the reason why I snapped. You know, it's like, oh, my graduation, I have my diploma here and they're not even here. That is a big F you, you know? So I was like, okay, cool. That demon was just taking over. And then I was like, all right, let me give it Daffy Duck. Something that I'm not going to take serious. Yeah. And then that Daffy Duck went to, okay, oh, look at the cute little baby. What you just say? Oh, I don't understand you. And I started doing the positive affirmations. And but doing other things that I wasn't used to helped me silence that voice pretty much. Is non-existent now. You know, there's times where I'm hard on myself as like doing the quotes and doing the videos and trying to make sure.
Discipline, right? Yeah. A lot of parents still has some discipline. That's that balance of discipline and right, because you know, a real good parent doesn't let your kid just not go to school or not do their, you know. So if it has a balance, I think that's the key that you're looking for.
Oh yes. Now, that was the past. You know, I'm a big believer of learning from the past, healing from it, and letting it go. Okay, that was the old way. This is the new way. That was my past. This is my future. And now, ever since that, my attempt of suicide was about 4 or 5 years ago, and now my relationship with my parents is outstanding.
Good.
Yeah, it was an awkward conversation. Yeah, it was an awkward conversation, but it was a needed conversation because I needed to see what path I was going to go. Like I knew where I was going to go. I just didn't know if they was coming along, and I was already okay with that. And like you said, like you just hear a voice, and I heard a voice, and it was a positive voice. Like, hey, you are meant to help people out. You're going to figure it out. You're going to help people out. But until then, take care of this situation. Like they say in an airplane, put their own oxygen mask on first before assisting others, and then you're going to take off. And thankfully, that voice has been guiding me the right way.
That's how I feel. Like I feel I've been guided. I don't know exactly where I'm going. I just know I'm on a new path, and it's very exciting.
Yes, I'm in trust in the universe. Yes.
Trust in just whatever is. Like knowing that's what's best for me, knowing that I'm protected, and whatever's best for me and meant to be will be mine. I just, you know, I'm just doing the work that I'm told to do every day, trying to live in the moment as much as possible, you know, and then seeing where it goes. And
no, this is outstanding. I can't wait. Unfortunately, we have to go. We have to wrap this up. Please tell the people where to find you at.
So my Instagram account is divine__radiance. I have a website that you can find on that Instagram page. And that's also the Facebook is also the same, divine__radiance.
Okay. Trust me, I'm going to have it in the description everywhere. And I'm hoping people would not only check out your page, but check out your website. There's healing that needs to be done.
Oh, and that's, I should tell you that too, www.divineradiance-healing.com.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Yes, this was phenomenal. All right. Until then, guys, see you next time.